Hi guys, this is Saturday, September 14th. Kevin and I worked at his shop today on a 78 Triumph. Client said that there was some noise coming from the primary. We didn't find it. We took the clutch apart, checked out everything, adjusted the primary chain and the rear drive chain and put it back together and did a test ride, and as the client said, there was a rattle, quite substantial rattle. So we started at 7:30 this morning, finished at 12:30, noon 30, and finally found it. This video consists of 30 some odd clips. We must have done 5 or 6 individual road test rides, trying to see if we had solved the problem. This is tedious, and you get to see all the tedium. We tried things, did, like I say, 5 or 6 road tests. We worked incremental, step by step. Try something, test ride it, try something, test ride it, try something, test ride it. Had a lot of false assumptions. I made a lot of false assumptions. They were wrong. And we had a lot of false starts. Did some things. Didn't solve the problem. On the other hand, during the effort we were working on trying to solve this rattle, we found a couple of other things that were bad, like the whole tail light internals. They were just bouncing around in there. So we fixed that. And we found the tachometer drive was just sloppy loose, so we fixed that. And it's a boring video, and I don't even know how long it is, but it's a long one. On the other hand, when you get to the end of it and find out what the rattle was and what we did to fix it, it might be worthwhile watching. Skip ahead if you want, but you can also get a few chuckles out of the false starts and fun we had during the effort. So, the solution is really neat. We found the problem and solved it. So the bike is ready to go back to the client. So have fun. Sit back, relax, smoke them if you got them. Get yourself a beer, maybe some chips, and kick back, relax, and watch a lot of 2 guys trying a whole lot of things to solve a very nebulous, weird rattle on this 78 Triumph. At the end of the day, we said, this has been a good day. It's been an interesting day, that's for sure. So here you go. Enjoy. Well, good morning. We're here at Kevin's shop this morning. We're going to do a test ride on this, what's it, 78?
78.
78 Triumph. We worked on it yesterday. It came in with a possible noise somewhere around the primary case. We opened up the case. We took the clutch apart, examined everything. It was just fine as far as we could see, feel, fondle, tell. We adjusted the tension on the primary chain. It was a little tight. We adjusted the tension on the drive chain. It also was a tad bit tight. We put the primary back together with a fresh gasket. We also put fresh seals on the primary chain tensioner cover bolt, which could have been the source of the leak. It had a very badly crushed O-ring in there. We put in 2 thin fiber washers to replace it. And fired it up, and sounds good, and feels good, and sounds... We can't hear anything. Anything else that we did yesterday?
No, let's see. Drive chain, primary chain, clutch. No, that's pretty much it.
And then we blessed it. Okay, so we're going to fire it up now, and Kevin's going to do a test ride, seeing how the clutch works, how the bike sounds, how the bike feels. We strobed the ignition.
The timing and just
we doubled, about a bazillionth of an inch. Yep. And then we got it running and adjusted the pilot jets, or mixture. And, well, let's go ahead and fire it up. Ooh, it's teasing us. Doesn't feel like it. Oh, good.
There.
Oh, better. Nice bike. That's about a 900 RPM idle. It sounds great. Let me step on that valve for you. Okay, now that's interesting. While he was sitting on it with his weight on the bike and revving the engine, I thought I heard a muffler rattle, like the baffle in the muffler has come loose or something like that. That may be the sound the client was hearing, because it's not from the primary. We're reasonably certain. So when it comes back, we'll put it on the lift and check to see if there's a rattle somewhere around the muffler system, exhaust system. Well, Kevin, aka Big K, has been gone quite a while. Normally, I don't think his test rides are this long. Getting just a tad bit worried. Normally I can hear him in the distance, and I don't hear him. I hope he doesn't come back pushing that thing. On the other hand, I hope he comes back. Well, standing here waiting. Give it a little bit more time, and then we'll go out driving the neighborhood. Okay, I just checked him with the Find My app. He's still moving, coming this way. That's a cool little app. It would at least told me if he'd been stopped somewhere. And I hear him coming right now. And I can hear that muffler rattling. All right, so welcome back. I could hear that rattle as you pulled out and as you came back in, and I expected that would do it, and I really figured it'd be inside one of these mufflers. This one's tighter. You know, I could just barely hear something over there on that one.
Yep.
Let's do this a little bit more. Hear that?
No, it's good.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's get it up on the lift
Okay.
and start it.
Uh-huh.
And I will pound on mufflers and exhaust systems
Okay.
and see if we can figure where that is.
Yeah.
It could be the baffle. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, the good news is it's not a performance issue.
No.
I mean, I had it up to 50 miles an hour. I did quick stops, made sure the clutch was good, stop, no grabbing.
Okay.
So other than this silly little rattle,
The mystery rattle.
Mm-hmm.
You want to start it where it is and sit on it? Or you want to put it on the lift? Let's start it right where it is.
Okay.
And do some pounding on it.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
All right.
The rattle is nothing.
That's not touching. Understand, maybe.
Carefully, it's pretty hot.
I don't hear it. That's the heck perfect. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, now.
You know what? Once you get on it, take it off the center stand.
Yep.
And let's do some checking to see if that's rattling.
Gotcha.
I may have to hold the sauce for you.
Yeah, it didn't really slide off now.
All right, now. Do a few revving or something. I mean, that, when I do this, that sorta sounds like it. All right, go ahead and shut it off.
Well, let me put it in gear, just move forward, back and forth a little bit, because that's when he reported was in gear.
All right.
I don't see anything.
Well, I could hear it as soon as you pulled out of here.
Huh. Yeah, with the helmet on, I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's, what do you say we do this? I still sorta suspect the center stand.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we strap it up
Mm-hmm.
tightly
Yep.
with a bungee cord
Okay.
and ride the bike again?
Sounds good.
Because I expected to hear the, I expected to hear the baffles in here,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just rattling around. I've heard that so many times, so many times on so many bikes. You know, that almost, but there's half an inch
there's plenty
clearance
of
there.
room, yeah.
I can get my fingers in there. There's plenty of clearance there. Maybe the bracket hitting it, but I don't see it. All right. All right. Let's
Turn it around.
yeah. It's right there. You didn't make it 3 feet. It's right there. Could you hear it? Back up and do it. Back up and do it again. It's
No,
not
I
the,
trust your ears.
it's not the center stand. Yeah, I'll just put it in R for race.
Okay. Oh, shit. Just enough.
Okay, do that same come forward. I can hear it.
Okay, I'm not hearing what you're hearing, but I trust you.
I swear I heard. I swear I heard it.
I believe
What we're
you.
going to do now is put some sort of little rubber bumper or something right between that attaching point for the chain guard where it might be hitting that rear shock absorber mount. So what we did there is we tied that center stand up. We were afraid that the center stand was vibrating against the bottom of the frame. And I don't think it did it. So now, on that side, let's see what we have. We
We all kind of rubber.
we have a plethora of options.
Very cool.
Oh my goodness gracious sakes. All right, we'll cut something and I'm going to show you where we're going to put it. And then we'll do another test drive. Okay, so what we're going to do is right in here, we zoom in. This little area right here is real close to that spring. And I don't see how it could possibly be doing it. But hear that sound?
Yeah, there it is.
Does that sound?
That's a rattle to me.
That there is a rattle when we do that. So we're going to put a little padding right in here. And and see what happens, okay?
Yep.
And then we probably won't leave the patty. We'll probably bend this. You know, we were never allowed
Yep.
to say bend in
Yeah.
field engineering.
Yeah.
We would say form. We would form this bracket.
Yep.
You're not allowed to bend things, but you're allowed to form them. Okay, anybody who's ever worked on an IBM computer will know that you can't say bend. You can only say form by company policy. Okay, so we will form that out a little bit. Yeah, I might just form that darn thing right now.
Yeah, no, I would form it right out.
Give me a big old screwdriver.
Okay.
Let's just see if I can make more clearance.
This is my prying screwdriver.
There you go. And we actually we could actually put a spacer in here on this bolt.
Okay.
So let's just see what happens here.
Could be the shock itself, because one of the things, note how these are new shocks,
Yeah.
and note how the space there, the shock itself, these are not clamped tight. See what I'm talking about?
Well, there's got to be swivel move. There has to be movement in here.
Right.
Otherwise, it'll break this
Yeah,
this
yeah.
part of it. Are you saying? When you're
There's a
saying,
lot of movement though. Look at that. That's an awful big space compared to what I'm used to.
Where are you saying? Up here, you mean?
No, right here.
Right. Let me get.
Yeah. See, you can. See how the screwdriver goes right in there?
No, that's about right.
Okay.
It really is. It's got a spacer inside,
Yeah.
and then it has to be able to twist
Yeah.
and go up and back and
Sure.
forth. Otherwise, it'll break that end up. Actually,
Yeah.
that was a Norton recall.
Oh, really?
They put spacers inside that were too short,
Yeah.
and these were breaking off.
Ah.
So
This is the torque on.
a long time ago. All right, so I don't think I got much joy out of bending this thing. I'm going to turn this off for a second. Okay, so at this point we have the center stand bungeed up, and I have a piece of rubber. Let's see what it sounds like when he does a hole shot. A gentle hole shot. I didn't hear it. You gonna ride it around the block? Take it around the block?
Yeah, see, I couldn't hear it earlier, but
Okay, let's go.
just go out in the street.
Yeah, up the street, down around the block.
Okay.
Be careful.
Oh, yeah.
Don't bump your head. I think I hear it. I don't know. I thought I heard it when it was bouncing up and down on the shocks. All right, this is just a short round the block rule prover. He couldn't hear it with the helmet on. I don't know if I heard it when he was bouncing down that gravel alleyway or not. Let's just give it a good listen to when it comes back. Here he comes. I can hear it. I mean, it's horrible. Yeah.
Still rattling.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's go put it on the left.
Sorry?
Let's go put it on the left. That's where it sounds worse. Interesting. Oil leaks and rattles. Two of the most interesting and time-consuming problems that we have on these bikes. Everything else is pretty straightforward. You take it apart, you change the parts, you put it back together, and everything's wonderful. Oil leaks are insidious, and rattles are a pain in the butt. All right, so let's get her up on the lift and see what we can see. Okay, we've pulled the eye ties off the center stand, pulled the rubber out of here. We're looking at this very closely. There's all kinds of clearance between the guard and the chain. But, first of all, in the older bikes, these were just always rubbing. I mean, just horrible, because they were never this wide. And it was very difficult, and they would hit them all the time. Now, what we found here is, first of all, this is a brand new rear tire. And if you look really, really closely, I don't know if you can see it. Let's have a close up. Illuminate it a little bit. There is a slight rubbing right here. You can just barely see it. Just rubbing just a little bit right there spot. Okay? And in here, at one time or another, they cut away the chain guard because it was rubbing the tire. And here's your rub spot, okay? And here's the chain guard. And it is somewhat close. Well, I don't know how it could be doing it. But we're going to take this off now and examine the chain guard very, very thoroughly, because that sound right there,
That's what we're hearing.
that's what sounds like what we're hearing. So we're going to do some examining at this point.
It's not real. Nah, that's not making that noise.
No. All right, so we got the chain guard off. We have examined closely and cannot find any evidence of anything that would be causing the problem, including the shock absorber. But, so what we've got over here is the chain guard itself. Now, it's already been modified. I showed you that. Somebody cut it out to clear the tire, okay? I'm going to extend that cutout down here, this area that I've marked, to make sure it's not touching. Also, I will grind these things smooth and make them nicer. And then we're going to cut out this piece here, because it's a little wavy gravy here. And the only thing that we can see at all is inside here, and I don't know if you can see it. See that little rubbing spot right there? That could be the chain rubbing. So when I cut this section out, you can actually see where I'm going to cut this. I'm going to sort of bevel the edge a little bit round, and I'm going to straighten out this little area a little bit more, and then we're going to put it back together. Now, in the meantime, you want to take it down and start it up without the chain guard?
Might as well, yeah.
All right. Kevin has suggested we put the bike on the ground without the chain guard. He'll do a couple of hole shots out of here and see if we still have the rattle, whether or not this might be the problem. I'm going to fix it anyway. I'm going to cut this stuff out and clean this up anyway. But we'll see what happens when we do a couple of hole shots out of here with the chain guard off. And my goodness, the fun never stops. The fun just never stops. All right, Kevin's going to take it around the block. Or he's going to do a whole shot at me.
What is that?
Well, I'm
Sure.
I'm not sure. Do it again.
Yeah.
Did you hear something?
I don't know anymore, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm certainly not hearing what I heard before.
It's just rev it.
Nothing. It's only when that chain is moving.
Just take it around the block.
Okay, you want to get the gig?
I'll get it.
Go ahead.
We gotta tie this wire down. Let's mix this out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Let's put a eye tie there.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's go around the block. I could hear it right there. All right, I heard the rattle when he just pulled out and came down the alleyway. I am going to make the modifications to the chain guard just because I've got it off and I've got the tools and I've got the time. And then we're going to pull that left-hand muffler off the bike and look in the front of it and see if there's something loose in the front. I can hear it. Can you hear it?
Worse when I lean it to the left.
Worse when you lean it to the left. Okay. I can hear it. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to go ahead and modify the chain guard because I have it off and have the time and have the tools. Might as well. We're still hearing a rattle. I'm still seeing it's coming from the left-hand muffler. We're going to do some work with a rubber mallet on it. We're going to hit it pretty hard with a rubber mallet. And we're going to take that left muffler off and look in the front intake end of the muffler rather than the exhaust. I just stuck a broom handle up in each of these mufflers when it was running. There's no movement from the center of the muffler out that I could discern using a broom handle. So we're going to pull this left muffler off and take a look inside the throat and see if we can see anything we can see. But first we're just going to do a lot of pounding with a rubber mallet to see if we can find out if it's anything other than the muffler. And the fun just never stops. All right, well I modified this chain guard a little bit, so that's opened up a lot and doubled. I don't think that was the problem, but it's a little better than it was. In the meantime, Kevin took the
Still wrestling with this thing.
he took the muffler off. I'm going to go look at that. In the meantime, he found out that the tack sender is loose, so we have to undo this just to get it, release it. Then we have to take the gears out by loosening this little bolt down there, and then we can get in there to tighten the bolt that actually holds the assembly in, which is quite often left-handed thread, so we have to double check that so we don't turn it the wrong way. Because it was loose, and we'll see how loose it is. And the fun just never stops. Where's that muffler? Oh, here it is. I'm going to go look inside this muffler and see what I can see. Well, darn. I mean, this thing is solid as a rock. There's no rattle in there at all, and it weighs like 700 pounds. And the inside looks really clean. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this or not. But let's see if I can zoom in, just see what happens here for the heck of it. Anyway, nice and clean, nothing loose, no rattle. I'll tell you what, folks, this is getting weird. This is getting really, really strange.
It doesn't sound like valve chatter.
No, it's external, I swear it is. These things are notorious for hitting up against this right here, this seat mount, but there's clearance on this one.
Yeah.
So I don't see it. And even moving it, I can't even move it around. And it doesn't sound like that anyway. It sounds like muffler, chain guard, pipes are tight. Center stand's tight. Spring is bouncing right against this right here. not hitting it's not hitting the sump bolts. There's nothing back here. Okay, so what are you finding up there?
Well, nothing. I was tightening that up.
Did you get it tightened?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It was reversed. It was easy. Just, I mean,
Was it
and it was,
left-handed thread?
yeah.
Okay, good. Now, see, there's supposed to be one of those seals like you use on petcocks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the rubber O-ring built into it. I don't see any sign of leakage.
No.
And you have any of those washers with the O-ring built in? Okay.
Like this?
There you go. Let's do it.
Okay, what are we gonna do?
We're gonna take this out.
Again?
Yep.
Okay.
And we're gonna unscrew that bolt that's holding it in place.
Okay.
Double check to see if there's a washer on it and change it anyway. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys see it in there? That's what holds it in place, that
Right.
bolt in there. And it's, in this case, left-handed thread. All right, there was not a sealing washer on that, so there is now. All right, we'll seal that up. Okay, the tack drive is back together. Let's get the big screwdriver into this. Or the one of the ones I made you.
What?
One of the... Right.
That's good.
Okay. And reseal. Now, there's nothing wrong with that muffler that I can find. I've modified the chain guard. We're going to bolt this thing back together and give it another try. Because I can't find anything back here at all in any way, shape, manner. That's just a spring. I don't know. All right, we're going to put it back together and give it another try.
Look at that, friend.
That's not bad. That's just a stupid little reflector.
Yeah,
See,
I know, but
I put silicone behind it.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
But
We're gonna do that.
these mounting bolts being
Yeah.
used leaves the whole.
Whole thing, but
I'm not sure that's the sound, but
it's a sound.
there. That's it. That's the sound right there.
Aha.
So these don't go into the nuts that are
Yeah.
back here for some reason.
Yeah.
Those nuts are rethreaded or what? Okay, so we're gonna fix that, even if we have to just buy some long nuts and bolts. So they won't go in, will they?
No, they're not going in. Just cut these.
Okay, so I don't know if I should feel happy that we found a problem or chagrined that it took us this long.
Well, because who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Yeah, we were probably going to end up drilling this out and put it in nuts and bolts. All right, so we'll fix this and see what happens. All right, we took the taillight apart. We found that whole reflector assembly loose. We tightened everything up, put it back together, and well, I sure hope that's where the rattle was, because we're about out of options. So we're going to take it out again. Keep going. mount on this bike. You know, when I was doing this, I could feel it. I mean, this whole thing is vibrating right here. So let's get up here and find out what mounts it's got under the seat.
Okay.
And we're going to tighten these 2 bolts on this horseshoe on here. Oh, this is just weird.
It's getting real old.
This is getting real old, as a matter of fact. All right, back on the lift we go. Leave it running, step off the bike. Now rev it up. I don't hear it, do you?
Yeah. Go ahead and wrap it up.
It's not in there.
Worthless but fun.
Okay, now we're going to take this out for a test run, but first of all, I'm going to tell you that you just watched Dr. Kevin Brown was using his stethoscope. Now, the fun part about that is Kevin has a doctorate. He really is Dr. Kevin Brown. So,
unfortunately, a doctorate in rhetoric does not help with motorcycle repair.
yeah, but he really does. A PhD, the man's a doctor. What's it in? That doctorate in what?
I'm sorry?
Your doctorate.
Rhetoric.
Rhetoric?
Speech communication. Rhetoric is the fancy Greek word they use, but basically it's speech communication, oral communication.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Now, that's part of the ministry?
Well, no, it's just something I've always been interested in. My bachelor's degree is in speech communication, and then I got a theological degree and a counseling degree, but then I wanted to go back and improve my preaching, so I got a speech degree.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I got high school. Okay. Okay, this isn't really a take 2, but I just said he's got a doctorate or 3 degrees, and I got high school. You know?
And I'm your apprentice in my 60s. So
it's an interesting world, isn't it?
that's for
and
sure.
Let me tell you, Kevin is an interesting person. Okay, well, while Kevin spins the bike around so he can roll it out, what we did is we went over the whole rear end wipe and we sprayed every one of the mounting bolts for the rear fender with WD-40 to penetrate a little bit. And then we tightened every freaking nut and bolt we could get our hands on. And we're ready to do a road test. So plus tightening everything we found in that tail light. And one more road test here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to try it without the choke since we just started it.
All right, see how it goes.
You hear it?
I can hear it right there. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Up it. the front end of the rear fender where they cut off that front
piece.
bracket. Where they cut that bracket off.
Okay.
All right, back up onto the lift. This is interesting. There's a square-shaped bracket on the front of the rear fender on these bikes that holds the front of the fender to the frame, and the part of the fender that goes to that bracket has been cut off. We saw that earlier in the day.
Yep.
And that bracket is there, not being used. So what we're seeing is a vibration on the front of the fender because that bracket is missing. Well, the bracket's there, but it's not connected to the fender. So what we're going to do now, Kevin, is we're going to get in there and figure out some way of hooking that bracket to the remaining portion of the front of the rear fender. So that's why it felt, we could feel it back here.
But it was
vibrating
up there. Well, and that was, yeah, okay, cool.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we are violating at least 30 safety requirements. Kevin's up here, and we're going to try to get a video of this front of the thing. Please don't. It's just that it's touching the swing arm right there, just touching.
Yeah, just touching it.
All we have to do is get in there with a file or a cutter and move about 1/8 of an inch of metal off the front of that fender for clearance, and I think we'll solve the problem. I don't think that, well, first of all, of course, I don't like the fact that the bracket's not bolted on, okay? I also don't like the concept of having to take this whole freaking rear end of this bike apart in order to drill that fender or replace it, and then to build some sort of bracket that would hook it to the original bracket. All of that is a lot of work, but I think if we go in there right there at the end, I'm going to zoom in.
Well, I've got some thin rubber you can slide underneath it to pad it.
I don't think it would do it. When I show it to you, you'll see what I mean. But right there, it is just barely touching the swing arm right there.
Okay.
And all we have to do is get 1/8 of an inch clearance, and the problem will be not solved, but
ameliorated.
I love that word. See, that there's an educated man. I knew the word, but I couldn't think of it. And we will be fixing the symptom, but not the problem.
Right.
But in this case, it doesn't matter. That's what we need to do right there. We need to get some clearance right there. Clearance right there. All right, so I'm not sure if you call this clever or desperate. We were able to file Kevin just left. We were able to file away the bottom of the fender, so we got about 1/8 of an inch of clearance underneath of it. And you can see it. But then we decided that why don't we just build a bracket that'll go from here over to the fender to hold it in place. So we took a piece of scrap metal, drilled it out to fit this mounting bolt, and then took it out here to the side of the fender and just made this totally unauthorized, totally unauthorized modification to make that rear fender solid as if the original bracket, which you can see behind it, was still connected. So we're going to fire it up now and see what happens. By the way, there's plenty of clearance behind here where the these hold in from the inside. So there's no problem there. And it's actually, it doesn't look ugly.
No.
It's going to do the job. Now let's see if the job is what's the one that needed to get done. But there it is, a nice little homemade bracket to keep the fender from vibrating. So we're going to put it down and see what happens. Sounds better already.
Yeah. She loves to choke, baby.
Choke when it's cold. I think we should do a road test. I mean, it was vibrating like a so-and-so before under those same conditions. I think we're ready to take it around the block. How about that?
And lovely.
And you know what? I've never seen a failure that would fit into the same category as this. This is a new experience for me.
Ah,
Okay.
someone cutting that out.
Yeah, the fact that that was broken.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just weird and strange.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can talk about it. I've never seen that particular set of symptoms where we couldn't trace down a rattle. So this has been an interesting experience for both of us. And I think we just solved it. Okay.
4.5.
All right, we're going to do another road test ride. I can tell already, by this time I would have heard a rattle. Okay, it's about 12:30 now, I think, and we started at 7:30 this morning. Interesting, eh? And here he comes. Oh, sounding good. Sounding good.
Huh?
All right, so how'd it go?
Again, the test ride went great. I think we may have it. I didn't hear any rattle. How about
No,
you?
not one peep.
No, I think that was it. And I mean, I got it up to 50. I hit the brakes hard. I did everything I could to make it noisy, and didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I could tell as soon as you pulled out of here. You know, I could always hear something as you just hit the gravel, frankly.
Yeah, no.
So, okay, it's done. It's done.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, okay, now we started, what time is it now?
So it is 12:15.
All right, so we started at 7:30?
7:30. Actually, a little before. We'll call it 7:30. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, okay, we're going to put it on the lift. You're going to dress it out, watch it for an overnight leak test, and then probably give it back to the owner.
Yep.
All right. Cool. I think it's been a good day.
Wow.
It's been an interesting day.
Well, it has. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
that sucker's everything's been tightened.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's a tight bike now.
That's for sure.
Okay, good.
You know.
This is a nice, clean bike, very complete bike. We fixed up a little bit of negligence on some parts. Did good work. And you're starting to like the 750s, huh?
Well, I still prefer the 650 motor overall.
Uh-huh.
No question. But I do think with these Mark II carburetors, this is one of the better 750s I felt. I mean, they're never bad.
No.
It's just I've always felt like the 650 pulled better.
Okay.
But with these carbs, this one pulls nice. And there's no reason to think anything was done to the motor itself.
That's
The only
true.
difference is carburetors. The Mark IIs as opposed to anal concentrics.
Interesting, because this is a 78, right?
It is correct.
And the previous 78 we had in here had amyls on it?
Amyls on it.
Yeah,
Yep.
interesting.
Well, yeah, and because this is a 78E.
Ah.
What I've learned
Uh-huh.
is that 1978, the T140V was the first 6 months of 1978 production year.
Okay.
Then they shifted over and made it E, which I guess stands for environmental, and that's when they put the Mark IIs on. I think that's when they put the Mark IIs on, and that's certainly when they put the snorkel and they ran the vapor into the airbox.
Okay.
I think all those changes. I know some changes were made like January of that production year.
Yeah, well, 71 is when they went to venting through the primary.
Oh, okay. So
this
that was
started
already
in
done.
71, yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
70 was the last one
That was
without.
okay. That.
Okay. Okay.
Just a little.
That
Yeah, I'll
was
have to check all that. It's interesting.
yeah. It's a nice bike.
It is. It's a very nice bike. I think the fellow has a very nice representation of that year. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Interesting colors.
Yeah, and the brown, evidently, he says, he's done some research, the gentleman really enjoys learning, and he said the brown is a very rare color, just a few hundred were shipped to the States.
Is that right?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I think it's an interesting bike. All
Yeah,
right, cool.
it is.
All right, 7:30 to 12:30,
Yep.
and we worked that whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We were